Hello from gardening at Douentza here in Ireland, and this is just a Sunday morning stroll around my garden just to show you how it's waking up for spring. We'll have a look at a couple of these borders now because, well, you know how it goes. In spring we start weeding and things look bad for a while, but then they look good. And I just want to show you where I've planted this lovely white camellia that you saw me recently buying. And I think it looks super just there. Now the white is going to be echoed with these white hyacinths in spring, and hopefully the two together will look really good. And all of these hyacinths here are ones that I bought to have indoors, so they were prepared ones that flowered in a glass indoors in around Christmas time, I suppose. And then after they were done, I put them out in the garden and they've done so well. Now we've just missed the daffodils. I have a bunch of double daffodils there that look so well, but they've just gone over. But there's all kinds of things springing up in the borders now. So we're just going to take a walk over here through this little path, and I've been doing some pruning on trees. This is an Amelanchier, and actually I didn't take off this branch, my husband did at my behest. But this is what happens when you start buying trees and you don't know a whole lot. Now when I bought this tree, I bought the biggest one in the nursery, which was great. But what I didn't notice was that it was horribly twisted, so the three branches twisted around each other, and it was planted for so many years. I had absolutely no idea what to do about it because it was too difficult to extricate them. Anyway, this spring we finally decided to bite the bullet and take off that outer branch, and you can see the mark on the tree there where it's been damaged through the third branch intertwining there for so many years. And actually, even though we have a little plateau there, a little tray where I'll have to put some ornament, I think it looks a whole lot better already. So just a little tip, when buying trees, always look out for how badly or well they're intertwined, because it can give you real problems later on. When we're new at gardening, very seldom are we prepared to cut wood, I find, and cut wood is what needed to happen with that one. Okay, so moving along over here, and we have Magnolia stellata just coming into flower. Underneath, lots and lots of Primula Crousse. Now this is a gorgeous double primrose, and it really is a lovely one. Very vigorous too, as you can see by the fact that I split it a couple of years ago and I put it all through this border there underneath this macrantha, the bride shrub. Lots more, and all through there. And that's what you want from a primrose. None of this kind of like, if you look at me sideways I'm going to die in you. Tree peony there with its gorgeous bronze foliage looking really well. Macrantha the bride, which we already mentioned, full of buds. Can't wait to see her in flower. And oh yeah, we got as far as the Magnolia, which is looking really well. Now there's my shadow. What can we do? That's where we've just come from. And just over here, the top of the border, we've a lot of that primrose I just mentioned, plus little Chionodoxa, which are at the end of their cycle now, but such a cute little thing. And what you need for these is loads and loads and loads, and you need to plant loads of them, and you need to leave them in earth that is not going to get disturbed, because if you plant something on top that's evergreen, well, that's the end of them. Or if you disturb the bulbs when they're dormant in summer, well, that's the end of them. And really, you know, a geranium scrambling geranium that has its roots kind of like over there, and its foliage on top of where those bulbs are in summer is probably the best way to go. And just up here we have the first of the cherry blossoms in flower, and this is cherry blossom Accolade. Let's go in and have a look at some of the blooms. And the virtue of this one is its earliness. Look at that amazing blue sky today. And the birds. And the Wicklow Hills over there. So that's the cherry blossom, and just swinging around here, that's the border we just looked at. We have my pine tree, which has recently had lower branches removed, and I think this is such an important part of gardening, to constantly, with a variety of trees anyway, not all, but to remove the lower branches. And that just allows so much more flexibility in terms of planting underneath. Now this one isn't going to have anything planted underneath it, but I could if I wanted to, and certainly if the tree is in the border, then that's what you want to do. You want to be planting gorgeous little spring bulbs underneath it. Sarracenia have been cut back, but they're still asleep. There's the greenhouse over there, but we spent a lot of time in videos over there, so we're just not going to go there today. This border here with the stone table, where many videos are taken. Looking quite bare at the moment, but we do have this purple primrose at the back, and the tulip Bagnaluca is coming. Green at the moment, but that's a cute little primrose, also a good doer. This came from a friend's garden. It had been her mother's or something. It went back a good while. And then swinging around to have a look down the garden there. And here we are over at the greenhouse, just looking back, that pine tree, the area we were just in. Just want to show you this glut of beautiful primroses down here. This yellow double one is just joyous and kind of splashes sunshine around the border, and kind of contrasting it with that dark red one over there, which just isn't as vigorous. And if we have a look down here, we can get a close-up of the yellow, which is really, really nice. This red one here is also really nice. Isn't that a stunner? Absolutely gorgeous. And if we have a look at the detail here, I think it's just a gorgeous one. Now I bought this as a potted plant, and of course immediately divided it into 3 bits and that one there isn't doing so well, so perhaps I shouldn't have done that. Obviously it's not as vigorous as some, but gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous flowers. I think the name is something like Valentine, and yeah, definitely a Valentine's Day one. That's my Rhododendron, not awake yet, and a Campanula that I've just recently been dividing. Great time of year for dividing, and I'm doing a lot of that at the moment, digging plants up, perennials, cutting them up and then redistributing them in better places where they have more space, and also things that I've observed have become overshadowed through bushes and trees growing up. I've been moving some of those and just putting them somewhere where they'll have more space. And some of that Campanula we just looked at went over here beyond the Artemisia, and some of that Artemisia, the silver one there, went over there, just in front of the Sarracenia. So now I'm down the end of that border you saw me just walking on a minute ago. There's the stone table at the very top, Sarracenia planters, and the greenhouses over there. And this is the last stretch I'm going to show you to today, because my garden is an acre, but I'm not prepared to show it all just at the moment because it's a bit scruffy. Whereas I've come to grips with what's happening over here. And I've got this gorgeous little wood anemone at this end of the border underneath the pear trees, looking really, really good. And just beyond it, oh, this one's a beauty. This is a Heketia called Thor, and it's a variegated one. And isn't it gorgeous? Look at those flowers. I think it's fantastic. Let's just move out. Sorry about the wonky camera work, and I hope there's not too much wind in the background. But this was an impromptu video. Just decided to come out and do it. And then just looking at this border here, we have that very ugly stump, which is from a giant echium. And last March we had drifts and drifts of snow at this time of year, and it killed off all the large echiums in my garden. Now I still have seedlings popping up around the place, but it got rid of all the big ones, and this one doesn't want to come out yet. The root is still very firmly in there, so I asked my husband to saw off the top there, because it really is ugly, isn't it? I can't really be tolerating that for another year. There's that bed just waking up, and just over here to make mention of the Magnolia, and this is Magnolia Star Wars, which is my daughter's birth tree. I have a birth tree for each of my children. My daughter, who was my son, as happens sometimes, and it's a beautiful one. She'd be mad about everything to do with science fiction, so I think it's quite an apt plant, and really big flowers, so that's really the reason why I chose it for her. Now coming down here, a couple of things I want to show you before we wrap up this video, and I suppose which side will I go to? I go this side first. We have one of those American irises that has just gone mad. I really need to divide that. It's taking up far too much space for what it adds to the border. I just need to check what time of year I'm allowed to do that. Gorgeous little primrose here called Dark Rosaline. Isn't that gorgeous? And a good doer again, because you can see I have another 2 clumps here. And moving over, I mean, bushes and trees are just waking up now at this stage. There's that border over there with the double purple primrose and the daffodil thalia. Now, yeah, I guess that's all I want to really show you here on this side. And then swinging around here, we have Rhododendron barbatum, which is flowering magnificently this year, covered in red flowers. Now this is a species rhododendron that I bought for its bark, although you can't really tell that yet because the bark is quite unremarkable in its juvenile stage, but eventually this gets an amazing mahogany peeling bark that is to die for, and that's why I bought this rhododendron originally. So hard to get species rhododendrons or any kind of choice ones. Here we've got a Luma, Glanleam Gold, gorgeous variegated cultivar that was discovered in Glanleam Garden down in Kerry a few years ago. And then as the sun goes in, there's an Acer griseum there at the back with its peeling bark. Some more rhodos, because I do have acid soil, so, you know, cool. Catch a load of this narcissus. Bulbocodum, I think, or bulbocodium. It is doing so well, and it has been here maybe 3 or 4 years and flowered reliably every year, which is gas because it's an alpine one. and one that people very often grow in an alpine greenhouse in pots topped with grit, but it doesn't need that here. Well, I do have very stony soil, so that's something to do with it. I love how the wood anemones have decided to just nestle in there. Well, yeah. Hello, little ladybird. You are so precious. Let's put you back down here. I want lots of you in the garden. And this bush here, just coming into bud. Super. And just finally, and I keep saying finally, but then I remember another bit of the garden that I've actually tidied up, so I can show you it. Here's my hellebore bed, which is just going over really now at this stage, and I have blue hyacinths planted in here, which is nice. This looked really good a short time ago, looking super. Over there we have the ligularia bed that you saw me weeding and cutting back perennials in a video not very long ago. And then just over here, just to get your bearings, that's the Magnolia Star Wars just there, and this is the bed just behind it where I've recently done a good bit of planting and dividing, and I'm really pleased how it's going to turn out. We have Primula Drumcliff down there, which is doing really well, and a number of peonies. I've planted a number of peonies here. There's one there, and then that's my Bartletella tree peony, or Ito hybrid, cross between tree peony and herbaceous peony. And I have another couple over there, so I can't wait to see how these turn out and how they flower and everything like that. And over there, just again to give you your bearings, there's that white camellia I planted and the hyacinths, and that there is the little path that we walked down first off in the video. Cordyline australis there still has a lot of its brown dead leaves down below, which I will take off, but there's no hurry because we might get cold weather yet, and they do offer some protection. Okay, so that's it. That was my little spring walk around the garden. I hope you liked it, and it's not all of my garden. I hasten very much to add just ones where there's stuff of interest to see now. And if you did like it, then check back and find lots more plant and gardening and houseplant and all kinds of videos about plants. Basically it's about plants over here. Okay, thanks very much for watching, and bye!